Welcome. This is going to be a full in-depth course on exactly how to do pavers. Now, what I'm going to do is much better and more effective way of telling you and showing you the correct way of doing pavers. And I guarantee you, by the time you're done watching this, you will know more about pavers than you do now, and it'll be more effective than you learning how to actually install this damn paver. Step number one, we must first understand what is a paver. Paver is a concrete formed piece of brick. This one's from Home Depot. This is probably like $1, maybe less. So there's a clay brick and then there's a concrete brick. This is concrete, no different. All you do when you create a paver is you take concrete into a mold and you put it in there, you add color and you make it smooth, you cure it and all that stuff, and boom, it's one individual paver. The advantage of doing pavers versus concrete is that you can actually replace that single paver. The concrete, you have to replace the whole slab, and it'll have a discoloration. From Home Depot, it'll have smooth edges. If you go to Belgard, Calstone, Techoblock, Unilock, whatever these pavers are, they're going to have little nubs on the side of them. They're going to have about 4, maybe 8, 6 nubs on the side, depending on how big the paver is. And those nubs right there are what's called interlocking pavers. Once they're all connected, you can't move them. The only way you can move it is you pick it up. And I'll show you the tool that we use to pick the paver up once we have to fix something later on. This is what determines a professional paver from Home Depot garbage paver that you never want to install. If you ever go to a job site and you see garbage pavers at Home Depot, all of them are going to be lopsided. They're all going to be out of whack. You cannot install those. Even if the homeowner tells you, I want those pavers installed. In the beginning, I installed those pavers because the homeowner said, I want these. However, once I figured out what those pavers or actually doing, I explained to them this concept right here about the interlocking pavers. And I said, look, 4 years down the line, they're all going to be lopsided and you're going to be mad at me because of quality of craftsmanship. So that was my pitch in the beginning. And customers quickly agreed. You got to sell. You got to sell your buns off. No nubs, no deal. Remember that. I know what you're thinking. How do I install pavers? We're not going to be installing the damn pavers. Just hear me out. What would be easier for little Johnny to go and get 20 years of experience, or for little Johnny to go out and find Jose that already has 20 years experience, and boom, little Johnny now has 20 years of experience? Do you get that? What you have to do and what you have to understand is you don't need to learn how to do pavers. All you need to do is go out and find people that know how to do pavers. I know what you're going to say. It's not that easy. I'm not from California. I don't have guys sitting at Home Depot that already have all this experience. Okay, hear me out. This is what you're going to do. You must first be open-minded. And secondly, you have to say, I can do it. Imagine this. You're out there, you're looking for guys, and all you think in your head, oh no, this is not going to work. T's wrong. Of course it's not going to work. You're negative Nancy. But if you go out there and say, you know what? If T can do it, I can do it. It's going to work. I am no more special than you are. I was literally a 25-year-old idiot. You guys wouldn't even recognize who I was 8 years ago. I was a completely different person. And all it took was one guy. One guy changed my entire life, and his name was Carlos. I'm going to show you exactly. Let's crouch here because it's secretive. I don't want Coaster to be recording, so the camera angle is going to be a little fucked, but I'm going to show you exactly how to find people. It's very simple. I'm taking all of the excuses out so you have no fucking excuses. No excuses. Okay, let's roll. So we're gonna be walking in. This is an establishment that I've never. Well, I frequent this place, but not me personally. I usually send people here. I'm gonna go in here and buy some sand. Everyone's busy right now, so we'll see what we can do. A great target right now is the guy in the green shirt. That's a fantastic target. Buenos dias. Buenas tardes. I'm practicing Spanish. See, already started a conversation. Not a big deal. Now we're gonna go get one bag of sand, and then we're gonna catch them on the way out. Can I get one bag of G2?
Sure. What color?
Great. Is this touchscreen? What's your favorite paver?
For me?
Yeah.
Carlstone.
Calstone?
Carlstone.
You like Quarry Stone, huh?
Nah.
You like Mission?
Well, the price for Mission, yes.
Oh, yeah, price for Mission is bueno, huh?
Yeah. Well, you want the looks very nice. For me, in that one, I like it. Mega Robert Payo.
Oh, I see. How long have you been here?
Right here.
I've
5
seen you
years.
5 years. I've seen you a long time.
Yeah.
I started, first time I came here was 2017.
Sure.
Yeah. So you came here in 2019.
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy. You know mucho personas. Okay, that's the start. Watch. Turn around. That stupid song stuck in my head. Those dumbass kids singing.
You know what that's from?
No.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
A what?
It's from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I don't know what that is.
But do you know what it is?
No.
You know what it is?
No. Turn around. Do you have any guys that know how to do pavers?
Sorry, sorry.
Do you have any friends, amigos, that do pavers very well?
Yes. For installation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a guy that's like your favorite?
¿Qué necesitas? ¿Que te instalen cuántos pies? O
I just need help installing pavers sometimes. And if you have any good guys that
tú quieres alguien que te los instale nada más o que te haga todo?
todo would be bueno. Do you have a friend? Can I have his number or your number?
Sure.
Okay. What is it?
A ver si te lo paso así.
Did you get the new one? Oh yeah, look at you. Fancy, huh? Okay, bueno, I'll text him. Perfecto. Gracias. Sign here? Okay, I'll text you.
Yo te paso los contactos.
Okay, thank you. See ya. Hello?
Hello, you call me, buddy?
Hey, is this Humberto?
Uh-huh.
Hey, so I got your number from Stefan from Garden Supply, and I was wondering, you do pavers, yeah?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I have a company, and I just need help doing pavers. Maybe one day we can meet and I can show you what we do. Do you have your own crew, or it's just you?
No, I have my own crew.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. I'm gonna leave here in a little bit, but I'll give you a call just to work something out. Okay, just like that. Fucking easy peasy. But the real target is that guy in the green. Was he still in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna wait for him. But right now we're gonna get in the car. We'll go get sand. Hey, senor. Question. I see you do pavers.
Yes,
Do you do pavers for yourself, or do you do pavers or like work for a company?
I work for me.
You work for you?
Yeah.
Do you ever install, like, you have your own crew, or you just have you just do everything yourself?
Everything.
Yourself, solo. Do you ever do work for a company, like employee, W-2?
I work for company,
Uh-huh.
for different companies.
Yeah.
They work for me.
Like, how much did you get paid for, like, working? Because you're a mason, right?
Yeah, I pay
Per hour. Per hora.
per hour. For me, it's a $50.
50? Okay.
Yep. Pero I in my truck,
Right.
my machines,
Yeah.
everything compacted and
So
everything.
I have everything. So my masons, I pay 40, but I have everything. You don't,
40.
40 an hour. So no tools from you, nothing. What I'll do is, maybe you have a friend that does pavers. So if you go on Google, look this up, Applewood.
Okay.
You might have seen us everywhere, but I have a lot of guys. Okay, cool. Sounds good. I'll text you. You text?
You text me, I text pictures.
Okay.
The concrete and preparation.
Sounds good. Would you ever go on payroll? Like, if it was just consistent, if I said, let's pay you $40 an hour and Monday through Friday.
Yeah. Okay,
And-
for me it's same.
Yeah, no tools, nothing.
For me it's similar same.
Yeah, and on the
Okay.
weekends you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I pay.
I know.
I pay down. I
Believe
pay
me,
myself.
money goes out the door like
Once the
crazy.
money goes, see,
Yeah.
No, me no easy.
Yeah.
No money.
Right.
Only pay for guys.
Yes.
And
I've had a lot of jobs where, you know, 50,000, 30,000, you're like, oh, mucho dinero, and then you pay everything, gone.
Yes.
What's your name?
Jaime.
Jaime.
This is and
Okay.
this is my name.
Mucho gusto. I'll text you.
Jaime Tenorio.
Okay, adios. All right, now I show you how it's done. So originally the first guy called us, he called us and he said, oh, I only do, he works for himself. And this guy works for himself, but the problem is, like, he's not an actual sub. He doesn't have a license, he doesn't have insurance, he doesn't have fuck all. So if you're hiring people like that and you sub them out, you're gonna get fucked. Don't hire those people. Put them on payroll. Once you put him on payroll, he's an employee. He doesn't want to fucking order materials, base rock, demolition. Did you see his fucking truck? His truck can break down at any second. The thing was a piece of shit. It was literally, the motor was knocking. Tick, 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 tick. That's why I asked him straight up, if I pay you good, can you go on payroll? And he said, sure, it's the same thing for me. They just want money, bro. People just want money. Get out there and just talk to people. You have to interact. You have to go up. You have to ask them. Because who do you think has more experience with pavers? You or that fucking guy? The answer is that fucking guy. What's easier, for you to go learn 20 years of experience on how to do pavers, or just to hire his ass? Hire his ass. Easy. No excuses. I showed you how it's done. Now you don't have any fucking excuses. I'm literally taking all the excuses out, so I don't want to hear any of you pathetic little weasels. Oh, there's no people by me. I don't have any good guys. Okay, every single place in America has a store where they sell pavers. Don't bullshit me. Oh, I don't have Home Depots in California with guys standing outside. Like, do you think I'm gonna have a better opportunity finding a good guy at Home Depot or a good guy at a paver store spending $11,000 on pavers? That's just exactly what he did. He showed me a receipt. Spent 11 grand on pavers. That guy's committed. Follow the money. Who's spending money? And as soon as I walked into that store, I knew exactly who I wanted to talk to. It was that guy. You can tell just by looking at his hands. His hands, how he did his hair, his shirt, his boots, his pants. He had a little fucking holster for his phone. You see that guy goes through?
Yeah.
He looked professional. Don't you think, without even looking at him, he knows how to do pavers?
That was the first guy I would have talked to.
That's what I'm saying. There's certain characteristics that you have to look out for. Another thing is, just don't be an idiot. Just go out there and stop telling yourself the same fucking excuses. Oh, there's no good people out there. I can't find any good people. I don't live in California. Shut the fuck up. There are good people everywhere. Stop telling yourself the same pathetic story. That's why you're poor. You're poor because you do the exact same shit over and over and over again. Think like a successful person and go out there and get shit done, just like I did. I spent, what was that, 20 minutes? I got 2 phone numbers. I'm 2 for 2. I can't even get girls' phone number that fast. 2 for 2. I approached 2 girls, I might get 1 phone number, maybe. I approached 2 guys, I got both their phone numbers. I'm just saying, if we're looking at it like that. Don't be scared about going up and asking people, bro. It's just do it. You have to understand, in order for you to stop being poor, you have to do things that are different. Your friends don't do this. You didn't do this. You're scared to do this. Before we jump into the video, we have to go through all the tools that you're going to need to get in order to complete this job. You cannot do this with just a pick and a shovel. You can, but you're going to hate yourself. And you're also going to put your employees in a position where they're going to resent you because of all the hard, laborious, heavy lifting they had to do. It's already going to be hard enough to do pavers with machines. If you choose no machines, you're making it literally 10 times harder. And I had to go through this when I first started because my first paver job, it was actually like a retaining wall job, but same principle. Excavate soil, get it out of there, bring in base rock, compact it, and then bring in the blocks. Same thing with the pavers. Remove concrete, driveway, excavate soil, bring in base rock, compact, bring in sand, bring in pavers. Now, these are the tools that you're going to need. Number 1, all the hand tools. We're not going to name all those. Fine. Shovels, picks, all that stuff. Number 2, you're going to need a way to lift up all the concrete and start digging. There's 1 of 2 ways you can do it. Number 1 is a loader, Cat 259, a big dog, or a ditch witch, a little guy, 600, 650, 850, 1050, 1550. The bigger you go, the easier it gets. Obviously, for a driveway, you have a lot of room, so you don't have tight access, so you can get a big dog. Or you can get an excavator. Now, an excavator is going to be very, very easy to dig, and maneuver and all that stuff. But in the beginning, you probably won't even understand how to use an excavator. So you're just going to want to stick with a loader. And to make yourself less scared of a machine, because this is what I was going through when I first started. And I know this is what you're going to go through. I had no idea how to run these machines. And Carlos and the other guys, when I asked them, hey, do you know how to do the machine? Oh, no, tigre. We know doing. This is, oh, no, we know doing. We scared. That's what they said. I'm like, oh, shit, if they're scared, I'm scared. I'm telling you here right now, you don't have to be scared. Machines are so easy to operate. It's for morons. Like, literally the easiest thing ever. Go just get one. This is what you're going to do. If you have no idea how to use a machine, or you don't know what kind of machine to get, you're going to go to your local rental place and you're going to say, hey, I want a 36-inch mini loader that you stand on. It's a ditch witch, a Kubota, Vermeer. You stand on it and you start digging. The ones you walk behind, you're going to hate. Those things are like for mulch and a little bit of sand and a little bit of rock. You're going to want to stand on one because those things are a beast. Now, the ditch witch 650s, they have no balls. You're going to want to stick away from those. 850 plus, great offer. Vermeer, the biggest one you can get. Bobcat, MT100, the biggest one you can get. All these makers, get the biggest 36-inch you can get. And what you're going to do, first, you're going to get in there and start breaking the concrete with a hammer or a jackhammer. Now, a lot of you will be like, well, T, that's very labor intensive. Okay, if there is concrete and it's old concrete, you got nothing to worry about. It's going to come up easy peasy. If it's new concrete and has rebar, you're going to have to get a breaker. You're going to have to get a breaker attachment, something that is heavy duty. And the best thing you can do, we didn't do it on this driveway, is you get a saw, one of those steel 420 saws, the ones that firefighters use to cut doors off. You're going to crank that thing down and you're going to make tic-tac-toe all over the driveway, cut little squares. And you're going to notice how easy it is for the concrete to pop up when it has rebars. You should do this no matter what. I don't know why the guys in this video didn't do it, but I'm telling you right now, make tic-tac-toe on the driveway and the area you're going to remove, and these things pop right up. Old concrete pops right up. Pop, 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 pop. So now let's say you went and you rented a 36-inch ditch witch. You brought it to the site. You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to have to get on it. Okay, you're going to have to get on it. You're going to start playing with it. Be careful. I mean, it's a little one, so you don't have to go crazy with it. You're not going to break a house, but it is a little guy, so you're going to have to take responsibility for it, and you're going to start using it. After you find out how easy it is to use, you have to pass it on to your guy. Because remember, there's nothing worse than you being the only one that knows how to run equipment. And the learning curve for you and the learning curve for him is the exact same. Maybe you'll learn a little bit faster, but I would rather have you teach him how to do it than you be the professional. That's not good. So in the beginning, jump on and start breaking things out. So remove the driveway. Okay. Next, what you're going to be faced with is right when you break up the concrete, where are you going to put the concrete? Keep everything very organized. Ideally, you want to move things once into the exact location where it's going to be dumped. Now in this video, we had a big ass semi truck come. It's a 20-yarder and we loaded it with the 3000. Obviously, you're not going to have a 3000. So what you can do, A, is rent a dumpster, which they're around like $600. You can put all the concrete there. And then you can rent another dumpster to put soil. Or you can go and get a dump trailer, rent it, $150 a day, $200 a day. Don't load it too much. Make sure all the materials are right above the tires, the wheel wells. You don't want to load it too forward because these things will not dump. I know from experience. They will not dump. And you're going to have to sit there with a shovel and dig out the dirt. Now, when you do that, you're going to keep everything organized. So you're going to take the concrete from location A, move it into the trailer. A trailer. A lot of people, what they do is they take it from here, move it to here, and then they move it into the truck. You're moving it twice. Make sure to move things once. One, boom, boom. Fast. Time. Remember, time is the most expensive thing in the business. It's not dump fees. It's not diesel. It's not Joe Biden. It's none of that. It's literally time. Employees cost money because of time. So be sure that you're quick with it. If you get to a certain level where you're like, dude, you know what? I'm going to be able to get a big machine. I can rent one. Get one, bro. And then call a semi-truck driver. Semi-truck drivers for hire. Go to Marketplace. If you see a semi-truck down the street when you're driving by and they're loading him with concrete, stop by, get his number. They usually charge $400, $500, $600 for a whole load. And they'll bring you base rock. They'll take away concrete. They'll take away soil. And you don't have to worry about none of that. There's other companies that'll do it. They hire per hour, which is kind of a pain in the ass. You want to stay away from that. You want a guy to charge you per job. My guy charged me $550 for soil, $500 for concrete, and $500 for delivering base rock. Great offer. Fantastic offer. Love that. The most important thing in our industry, do things fast, but do things safe. Don't take too long to do things, okay? Now that we have all those things out the way and we're getting into the demo process, I want to jump into the video and exactly show you step by step on how to do things so you can see the whole process. Because if you can see it, you understand it, and you'll go and duplicate it. Let's roll. First thing you got to do is come over here and inspect. Does the concrete have rebar or not? If it doesn't have rebar, the demolition is going to be extremely simple. If it does have rebar, it's going to require more time. If it has rebar, you're probably going to need to jackhammer everything first and then get little pieces out. The boys are going to get on the ditch witch and they're going to start popping things out. Because it has no rebar, he was able to get that piece all at once, and the best thing to do is take that piece and put it in the street. If your semi-truck will allow it, it'd be a better offer to throw it right in the semi-truck. But in this case, these guys are very anal and they want smaller pieces because when they go dump in my area, the dump requires them to have smaller pieces so we won't get charged more money. So typically you would have a jackhammer, but because the concrete has no rebar, it's easy for him to smack it with a sledgehammer. This house was built in 1960. That's why it has no rebar. Anything newer than that has rebar. Look at this piece right here. It's gonna pop right up. And because it has no rebar, it's so easy to break. Now they have to be careful around the house, and that's why he's gonna go in there right by the house, and he's gonna knock a piece. Because the worst thing that can happen is you break a piece of the house. Not a good offer. See? Perfect little piece. He's going to do the other piece by hand, and it's good. You got to be very careful around areas that are by the house and the garage. So a lot of you might be wanting to do this with a bucket, but the best way to do this without rebar is forks. Forks get right inside under the concrete, and then you just pop them up. They threw a little piece in there, and that creates leverage underneath the concrete. Now he's going to drop it, and then they're going to hit it with a sledgehammer. And just like that, the piece is smaller, more manageable, and he's going to get in there with the forks and just pop it right up. Okay, now it's time for me to tell you exactly what's going on as it's going on. A lot of people understand demolition is not the hardest thing in the world. It's simple. Like, the best thing you can do is get one of these jackhammers. It's a Hilti. It's fantastic. It's really strong. I used to get these Bosch jackhammers, but I never understood why anyone would spend $4,000 on a jackhammer, especially a Hilti one, until I finally bought one. And I will not go back. Invest in this and make sure you keep it safe, because one of mine got stolen already and I was very upset. So here they're lifting everything with forks, and now the semi truck comes. A lot of you might not be in a position where you're able to get the semi truck. A lot of you will have to do dump runs with the dump trailer, or you'll get a rental of $550 or something like that. But just know, the longer it takes you to do something, the longer it's going to take. That's simple math. This is why I have to commission these semi trucks to come in here, and I have a plethora of equipment. Ditch witch. All you see is a 3000, a 1550, and you see a big ass semi truck. So that truck right there cost me $500 to dump a load of concrete, and he waits for about an hour, and I don't have to pay him for gas. I don't have to pay him for insurance, no driver, nothing. This thing comes in, he sits, he waits, and then he leaves. There's no overhead on that part, and it's just a flat fee, which I love. And I'm really spoiled about it. I really am. Your area, you might not be able to find this, but what you can do is go out and commission a truck on an hourly basis, which will cost you about $110, $120 an hour. And the only way I know that is because that's exactly what I used to do in 2016. I didn't know where to get these semi trucks, so I had to go out and hire a guy hourly, and he would come in and he would just charge me per hour, and I would give him my credit card and he would swipe it at the dump until I found this guy. And I've never looked back since then, because it's a much better deal and it's less stressful, and you don't have to pay anyone for hourly, none of that. It's just boom, flat rate, done. The easier you can make your life and your employee's life, the better it's going to be to own and operate a business, because instead of you driving around with your tail up your ass chasing everything like most of you do right now. And again, the only way I know that is because I used to do that. I used to be a driver for my business, and I would spend 6, 7, 8 hours a day, sometimes all day, 10, 12 hours in my truck, driving around literally with my head up my ass, because I was too stupid and not educated enough to hire a driver. Hire people. The best thing you can do in your business is hire people, especially after you get going. In the beginning, your very first job, you're going to have to pay the price. But once you get a bankroll of jobs going, just remember this. If you don't hire, you're going to fry your brain out. You're going to get fired. If you don't hire, you're going to get fired. And that's exactly what you want to do when your company gets traction. Every single position you're in, you're going to want to blow yourself out. You're the manager. You're the stonemason. You're the guy doing irrigation. You're the guy doing time clocks. You're the guy driving to the dump, Home Depot. Guess what? You're going to want to fire your ass every single time. Chew off your own arm. That way, no one else chews off yours. Now they got all the concrete out. It's very important to get as much as you can in the whole truck. As you saw, we had a little piece there and the whole driveway. We fit that in on one single semi-truck. This is why it's important for you to hire semi-trucks. It would have took 4 to 5 dump trailers. It would have been way inefficient, and they would have got the whole demo done in 1 day versus 2 hours. 2 hours of demo, everything is out. Now they can start getting the dirt ready. The threshold from the door is here. This is going to be your determining factor on the level. So you have to go about 6 inches down. And this right here is where your level has to be. And remember, anytime you're doing demo and putting pavers back, you have to make sure you're at least 2 inches away from the bottom of the wood or stucco. That is a code. The reason being is you put pavers all the way here, the wood is not going to be able to breathe, and all of this will start rotting and decaying, and pretty soon this entire thing will fall off. Yeah, it's going to take years, but that will happen. Same thing with stucco. If you put pavers here or concrete and stucco can't breathe, the entire stucco will crack and everything will start chipping and falling. You have to make sure you know the levels. And I've had some job sites where the existing concrete that we took out was already covering the stucco. In that case, you have no option, you have no choice, just put it back the way it was. But make sure you put in your contract that you take a picture, send it to the homeowner through email and text and saying, hey, this is the way it was, just want to let you know. I don't want to be liable for any cracking of the stucco. We're just replacing it exactly as it was. It was built incorrectly. I forgot to mention this. Before you do any excavation, you have to call 811. They come out and mark the gas. And it's always good for you and your guys to know where the gas line is and the water line. I'm going to show you the water line in a little bit. But the gas line is right here, and you know that it goes straight out into the street. Some of the gas lines, the code for gas line is 39 inches below. Every single time we install, we dig 4 feet. And then we put sand, yada, yada. But in the 50s, when this house was built, this gas line is 12 inches below the surface. So what we had to do is go and find it. We found where the gas line was. We dug with a shovel, dig, 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 dig. You find the gas line, you know exactly where it is, how deep it is, and your guys can do all the demo. Make sure you do that, because this, if you hit a gas line, it is drama. $5,000 fine, semi-truck comes out, fire truck, police department. It's a bad offer. Let's go to the water line. When replacing old driveways, there are 2 easy upsells that you have to look out for always. Number 1 being the water line, and number 2 is the sewer. Are these things necessary? No. However, it is a good idea because this customer spent so much money to replace this entire area, to do the whole front yard, backyard. It would be stupid, and you would be doing them a disservice if you did not offer to replace the water line. In this particular case, this water line is copper. So copper is actually okay. But if this water line was PVC, or what most commonly is installed back in the day is galvanized steel. Galvanized steel rusts on the inside, and it is a super easy sell. Show them a picture of a rusted out galvanized steel pipe from the 1950s. Google it, and you show them this is what your pipe looks like. If they see that, they'll say yes, replace it. And you could charge them a few $1,000s just to run the water line 20, 30, 40 feet, whatever it is. Get a plumber to come out and give you an estimate on how much it would be, and just mark it up 20%. Easy money. Next is the sewer line. Sewer line, same thing. If you're replacing this entire thing, a sewer line is a no-brainer, because if you're replacing the water line, the sewer line is probably shot too. Get the plumber to come out and give you a price on water line and sewer line. They're probably going to charge you, an average sewer line job is at least $7,000. And tell the sewer line guy you're going to be trenching. Ask him for a price without trench, and tell him what is the price with trench. And have your guys trench the entire thing, get it opened up, ready, so that when the plumber comes out, all he has to do is drop the line, connect everything, test it, and he's out. And then you can backfill and you're good to go. You just made probably $4 or $5 grand right there. It is going to take a lot longer than if you were just to rip everything out and put pavers in, but your customer will be happy in the long run and you make more money. Another easy upsell you could charge the customer a few $100s is this sewer box. Now, this sewer box is from the 1950s. It's old, it's a piece of garbage. You're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars replacing the brand new driveway. Why would you not put a brand new sewer box in? I see contractors doing this all the time, and it's a stupid waste of money, and it's a dumb look. Replace it. You can buy a brand new one for $100, charge the customer $300, boom, done.
Always be on the lookout for ways to increase sales, because the best and most effective thing and the easiest way to make more money is a second sale. A customer spends $20,000. What's another $2,000? It's only 10%. But that extra $2,000 can mean a lot to you, and especially your profit margin, because an extra 2 bands on top of already the profit you were going to make, that's a home run. You might make an extra 50% profit because you added that on. So now after we got all the concrete out, it's time for the soil. Every time you do a job, you always want to dig from the farthest place out to the closest place by the street or wherever your dump site is. In this case, our dump site is right here where the sidewalk is. So the boys are digging with a shovel very carefully. You don't want to go too close to the house or the main meters and none of that because you don't want to have any drama. You don't want to break anything. If you scratch the siding, if you scratch anything with the house, it's going to be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Stay away and invest in nice shovels and have your guys do all the handwork. And then the big machine rolls everything out. The very first time I did a paver job, it was all shovels and wheelbarrows. And looking back, the only reason I didn't get any machines is because I was afraid. Don't be afraid. Go get a machine, especially a ditch witch. Fine, you don't have to get one of these big ass 259s, full size loaders, but you can definitely go to your rental yard and get a ditch witch, a Kubota, a Toro, one of those little skid steers that have some balls. Don't get the little gas ones. Always make sure they're diesel. Now, the boys are able to do so much work so much faster. And of course, we already know this time is money. So they're going to be switching things out. And right now, let's go see what he's about to grab. He might be grabbing a forklift to do something with that. I don't know. Oh, actually, it's the end of the day. They're cleaning up. It's time to go home. And every single time they go leave the job site, the sidewalk must be clean. The street must be clean. All of the debris must be on the property. And every time the job site has to be super tidy. In one day, look at what we've done. Complete removal of all concrete, and we started to pile up the dirt. Now, boys, I'm going to keep it real with you. I can tell you that you need to understand the whole theory about doing pavers and everything, but in reality, I really want you to understand, I'm going to bring it home yet again. It is so important for you to invest your time in finding the right people to do the job, because if you do, those people will actually be teaching you. How many of you right now would pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 to have one of my guys go to your job site and help you work? The guy right there on the big machine, his name is Julio. He is a complete gangster. He knows how to do levels. As soon as he came on and he did one day, he's always happy, has a good attitude. He has an earring in his left ear, a nice big diamond earring, and he has super shiny teeth, and he's always happy. That's how I always remember him. He knows how to do everything. He's a great mason. And then the guy on the semi-truck doing the dirt, that's Martin. He's been with me since 2018. Now, the reason I'm telling you about people is because people are and is and always will be the most important thing in your business. It doesn't matter that you're a better mason than them. No one gives a shit. Who cares? Who cares if you know how to do better work than your guys? That's actually a downgrade in life. You do not want to be the best person on your team. You actually want to be the worst. The shittier you are at doing pavers, the better you are going to be at running a business. So you have to sit there and contemplate, and you have to ask yourself this very question. I, as a new landscaping business owner, let's say I'm gonna do me as an example, okay? Tigran, do I want to be the best paver installer, best master mason in the entire planet, or do I want to not know anything about pavers? Just a little bit. You know, like right now, I've been doing this for 9 years. I know the theory behind how to do pavers. I can understand it, and I can tell you how it's done. I know all the correct processes and steps, so I know how to do it. But do I actually know the physical aspect of doing it? No. So now you got to ask yourself, do you want to know how to do it, or do you just want to know how it's done and have the right people? Because you don't have an infinite amount of time. You actually have a finite amount of time. And the more people that you can have in your business to do work like this, like pay attention to this. I am not there. I am not at this job site. I am not the one telling them, okay, you have to dig here. Jose is here and Martin is here.
They understand. It's very easy. You take a freaking piece of string from the level of the garage, and you take a piece of string and you hit it on the sidewalk. That's going to be your level. And you go around with the measurement, with a tape measure, and you make sure everything is 12 inches deep. That's how much you have to do for driveways, 12 inches. Simple, easy. You have to make sure everything's consistent, but also you're not even the one that's going to be doing this. You're going to have people. People. Get it through your head. People. You must have the right people in order for you successful. You do not become successful by doing everything yourself. People that do everything themselves are idiots. You want to be the guy that has an entire operation, an entire orchestra, an entire company versus a one-man show. One-man show is boring. You're going to get tired of it. It's going to be super draining. You're going to come home, crack open a beer, and complain to your wife. That is not going to be the case. You need to build a team. The great Jay-Z once said this: I'm a businessman. Now that's a play on words, because if you focus all your attention on building a great business, you don't have to have employees, but you yourself are a business. I am a business. When I had nobody, when I had nothing, when I was out here by myself passing out flyers, when I was a 25-year-old kid inside a mall, I knew the more I put in, the more I'm going to get out. If you sit there on your couch complaining about that there's no work, you're not making money, nobody gives a shit. It's like that guy that always spends time inside his house and he complains that he can't get girls. I'm so sad. I'm so lonely. Oh, blah, blah. Dude, leave your house. It's the exact same thing with work. You have to leave your house. You have to find people. You cannot build this company by yourself. Get that through your freaking thick head. You yourself need people. How many times are you going to say this, T? I'm going to say it as many times as it possibly can for you to drill it through your damn head. You need to have great people. And the only way to find them is to leave your house, is to go out, talk to people, shake people's hands, go to places where these guys hang out. Where do my guys hang out all the time? Home Depot, 7-Eleven, Mexican little stores on the weekends because they like to go with their families and get these little Mexican things for their kids. Those little candies. I don't know what they're called. That's where they like to go. Go where they like to go. They like tacos, burritos. They like tortas. They like Coca-Colas. You have to go where they like to go. Frequent the places they frequent, and you're going to meet people. And it's going to be way easier to ask one of these guys for their phone number than it is for you to go out and ask a girl for their phone number. It's going to be simple because straight to the point. These dudes, you're going to offer them money. First day was getting rid of all the concrete, making sure everything's gone. Day 2 is getting rid of all the dirt. Already one semi-truck of dirt left. Now, what do we have to do? The very, very first thing you got to do is take the level from here to here. Because this is the threshold, the garage. You take a piece of string, you tie it to the paver just like Martin's doing. You put it at the bottom of the paver and put it on the sidewalk. And you take it here like this. And then what you do is you go around measuring 12 inches. So this is exactly 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches, 12, 12, 12. So they did a perfect job. Seems like Martin knows what he's doing. The reason you want to do this is to make sure you have even base rock everywhere. Because if you don't excavate 8 inches here and you do 12 inches here, it's not going to be as strong here as it is there. That's why the string is very important, and you have to be very meticulous about checking every single little area of the driveway. So run a string this way, check this way, check everything before you put any base rock down. Next, every single area that you put pavers in, you have to make sure there's a sleeve underneath. A sleeve is a pipe. One of these. Now the boys decided to use a 1-inch pipe. Before, in the past, we've used 2 3-inch pipes. Now, you can run a 3-inch hard pipe, not one of those soft black pieces of garbage, a 3-inch hard pipe. And you put it along the edge of the garage, or what I like to do, even better, along the edge of the driveway because you know exactly where it is at all times. You do that, and every single time you need to run anything in the pipe, it's easy to do so. And before you bury it, put in your water line, put in your lights, put in everything, and put 1 extra string inside. So in the future, if you ever do need to run anything else, you tie the string to the pipe and just fish it through. You see this walkway right here? Even here, we put a sleeve going from there to there, because here there's a little plant. Even though I don't like this, I think this whole entire place should be paved, but the homeowner wanted a plant here for privacy. I don't know. I don't really like that. In an area like this that's so tight, you should pave the entire thing. Now you see there's a big bush here. The reason this bush is here is because this customer wanted to save it because this bush is 30 years old. But I convinced him, I'm like, dude, this bush is trash. I'm like, I don't want to offend you guys, but this bush is garbage. It's old. It is very unkempt. If we get a brand new one, place it down, it'll match entire existing landscape. I'm like, it's time to go. So I had to battle them for this. But I know at the end of the day, I am 100% right. This thing is garbage. It does not belong here. It needs to be taken out. Randy, I asked Jose, and this is what you have to do with your guys. I asked Jose, I'm like, hey, when's a trailer coming here for all the garbage? Oh, it'll be here tomorrow. I said, nuh-uh. It needs to be here today. Because this plant needs to go, and there's 3 panels of fence that need to be taken out. And there's a couple other miscellaneous garbage things. Like, look at this. This is unacceptable. 100% unacceptable. Why would I want this to be here today and removed tomorrow? All this garbage needs to be out of here today. Put it in a trailer, get it out of here, get the dirt out of here. I don't want to see one base rock delivered until everything is cleaned and we know exactly what the levels are, exactly how much depth it is. You need to be super non-negotiable about this, because what they do is remove the dirt, and on the way back, the semi-truck comes back and he's like, oh, I'll bring you back some base rock. I'll put it in the street. No, absolutely not. Especially for jobs like this. When he brings base rock, he dumps it right in here. Why would you want to move things twice? It'll take you an extra 30 minutes to move it from there to there, versus if he brings it and dumps it right in here. Because then all you have to do is just spread it out, compact it. Next truck he brings, right in here. Dump it. Driveways are very, very easy to do. You just have to micromanage every little decision. Semi-truck right in front. Over here, we have the big ditch witch. Jose is pushing all the little dirt to the ditch witch and putting it in the bucket. You want to be very careful not to scoop dirt while you already dug 12 inches, because we were actually perfect with the 12 inches. And what I told the boys right now, which they were already on it, they say, find the water line. Make sure you know exactly what the water line is, because that bucket has a tooth. Any little bucket, Jose's bucket, the little ditch witch or the big one, if it snags the water line a little bit, we're going to have a fucking fountain. It's going to be a bad offer. You're going to lose thousands of dollars because you're going to have to get a plumber out of here. He's going to fix the water line. The thing that you wanted to upsell the homeowner on that he didn't accept yet, you're going to have to do for free, which is not a good offer. Now, as you see, Randy's here. He came with the dump trailer. It's over there. So after this guy gets out of here, we're going to put all the garbage in there. This place is going to be spotless after this. And then it's time for the geotextile fabric, which I'll show you all that in a bit. Okay, see that? The depth is right there. They had about 2-3 inches until they hit it. That's why we have to expose it, make sure that it does not get hit. Now, all the dirt is gone. Now we have to do a few things. First, see that big bush? The big bush left. There's 2 semi-trucks of soil that left also. Now what they have to do is you have to focus on all the utilities. So go around with the customer and ask them what's important to them. First, 100%, we need to have a valve here for all the plants that go in here. So the boys are doing the utility work. They're going to dig this up. Next is any downspouts. Downspouts are an easy upsell, and you have to make sure you factor this into the consideration, because routing this is not easy and it's not cheap. When it rains, it goes into the roof, goes into the downspouts, into here, and goes to the street. Some places you have to check the code and make sure that's legal or not. Here where we're at, it's okay. But the places that's not okay, you have to keep all the water on site, meaning you have to dig a big hole and put a bunch of drain rock in here, and all the water has to go permeate into the soil. Like right here where I'm standing is going to be a huge deck. It'll be a perfect place to dig a big ass hole right here. But you got to charge for that. That's 3-4 grand right there. Easy money. Now, after all the utilities are done, boys will cover it up with dirt, compact it, make everything really, really level, get all this little garbage out, put it in a trailer, and then they will start with the geotextile fabric. Geotextile fabric is a structural fabric for driveways, because if the soil moves underneath, the fabric will protect it and your pavers won't sink.
The faster and more efficient you are with demolition, the better you're going to be. Remember, the hardest part about doing any paver driveway, paver area excavation is removing of the dirt. This is why you're going to see contractors. Let's say you bid on this job at $20 a square foot. Okay. I know I bid on this job at $40 a square foot because it's Teco block in California. Teco block alone, just for material, is $15 delivered, which is nuts. If you live on the East Coast, you'd be like, Teco block's $6. Yeah, but by the time you put it on a truck and ship it to California, pay all the liberal taxes, pay all the gas taxes, pay all the garbage, you're at a very, very expensive shipping rate. So I charge $40 a square foot. But let's say someone else can do these exact pavers for $20 a square foot. Why such a big delta? What's the difference? The only difference that I can see is he's going to excavate less and install less base rock. So for this particular job, we took out 3 semi-trucks of soil. A different guy might only do 2 semi-trucks of soil. And the dude that's doing it cheaper, you know he doesn't use semi-trucks. You know he might have one little digger, but he's the type of guy that's just doing dump trailer runs back and forth, wasting time, and it's him and another guy. Yeah, duh. But it's going to fail. He's not going to use geotextile fabric. He's not going to install the right base rock. He's not going to compact it with the right machine. He's going to do everything half-assed and cutting corners. This is going to be your selling point, separating you from everyone else. Right in your contract, you say excavation 12 inches. In nobody's contract that I've seen to date where they charge a decent amount of money like I do for installing pavers, have I ever seen 12 inches. They usually say excavate 6 inches of soil. 6 inches is not enough for a driveway. That's good for a walkway. Not enough for a driveway. And what's the most expensive part of any paver install? Excavation, hauling the dirt away. What is the heaviest thing on the planet that we have to deal with as landscapers? Soil. Getting soil out. And if you don't have a ditch witch, you don't have a 3000, you don't have great people, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that, especially if you have everything by hand. When I started my very first job, I didn't have any of these damn machines. It was literally me and 3 guys with shovels and a dump trailer. I was actually afraid to get these machines because I was like, well, I don't know how to use them. What am I going to do? And as soon as I got my first one, the very first day I got my ditch witch, that next day I made a call and I said, I need to order one of these things because I saw how much time it saved. And I saw how happy my guys were at the end of the day when they were leaving. If we're doing everything with shovels and picks and wheelbarrows, at the end of the day, you're going to be the worst person they want to see. They don't want to look at you. They hate themselves. They hate their life. Their back hurts and they just want to be done. Okay, this special fabric right here is called geotextile fabric. Make sure you put this on every single job. This is some free game. You can get a roll like this for very, very cheap at certain places like irrigation stores. They might charge you $1,200 for a roll. What I would do if I were you is go to a asphalt company. Don't go to a guy that does asphalt. Go to an asphalt supplier. There's this company in my area called Reed and Graham, and they sell this roll, the exact same roll that I can buy at Site One or another irrigation store for $400 because they buy these with crates, like literally shipping containers. They have 3-4 shipping containers of geotextile fabric at their yard because they use this underneath roadways and they need tons of them. And for roads, you need thousands of rolls. So they just buy containers and they get such a fat discount. You have to do things that'll prevent mistakes in the future. Taking advantage of prevention is better than fixing things later on. If you have to go and fix a sinkhole for pavers, let's say for this driveway, it's going to cost you $4,000 or $5,000 versus this roll right here. You put it down, cheap insurance. If any type of soil movement happens underneath the driveway, you'll be safe. You'll be protected. This stuff really works. Really, really works. Highly recommend it. Do not install a driveway or pavers or concrete without this. Make sure you always buy this and do it the first time. Do it nice or you do it twice, like my dad used to say. But see, my dad, he always did everything himself. If you want it done right, Tigran, do it yourself. Well, that's the wrong way of looking at it. That's not the way that we're going to look at it. If you want it done right, hire the right people. How about that? After the geo is done, after the piping is done for all of the irrigation, the semi-truck is going to back right in. See that? You see that? This is perfect. This is exactly what you want. Dump it right into the driveway. Do not dump on the street. Look how easy it was to spread. Took like 5 minutes. Spread. And now they're going to comb it out, grate it, rake it. Boom. Done. Imagine how much longer that would have took if they dumped it on the street. Make sure you save time. Time. Get that through your head. Saving time is more important than saving money, because when you save time, you will make more money. That's what you have to do. Focus your attention on is saving more time. And pretty soon, we're ready for another load of base rock. But guess what? Day 2 is over. We got all this work done on day 2. Complete demo. All the irrigation lines and power ran underneath the areas. Geotextile fabric installed. First load of base rock done. Ready for day 3. Time for day 3. Boys came in early. Work starts for Applewood at 7:30. You'd be like, T, why 7:30? What's the reason behind that? Why not 7? They can get out earlier. Here's the thing. So I used to do 7 o'clock a lot, but I noticed that some of my guys were 5-10 minutes late because they were at Home Depot buying stuff or they were at another place. So I was like, dude, this is kind of annoying, because when the crew leader is not there at 6:50, the trailer doesn't open. So now I have 3 guys standing around waiting, doing pretty much nothing for 5-10 minutes. And that's a really big game killer, because they can start working at 7:10, 7:15. But now, because the guy's 5-10 minutes late and he's not opening the trailer, they're going to start work at 7:30. So I changed it and I said the official work times for Applewood is 7:30 to 4 o'clock. Now it's time to do all the fine leveling and grading. That's what you see all the strings for. Randy just dumped about 3 yards of sand. In California, it's called C33 concrete wash sand. I don't know what it's going to be called by you. Everywhere, sand is called different things. What you're going to do is go to your paver supplier and say, what sand do I need for pavers? And he's going to tell you. And that's the stuff you use. Don't use just regular sand. You have to use a special sand. Paver sand only. Paver sand only. And a lot of you might be asking, T, what about base rock? I forgot to tell you about this. Base rock is very important because there are 2 different types of base rock. One of them is called virgin base, which is from Mother Nature. This is just rock grindings and it compacts extremely well, versus recycled base rock. What I used to use in the beginning when I started Applewood was virgin base rock. I was like, well, I don't know, it's better. But it was twice as expensive. A load of base rock that was $500, I was spending $1,000. Now that I discovered recycled concrete, that's what we use. And to be honest, right now, what we came up on is recycled base rock from asphalt. That stuff compacts amazing. I would highly recommend that. And it's so much cheaper. For a 20-yard semi-truck that got delivered, it's $500 delivered. So I know that he goes there and he buys the material for like $150 for an entire truck. So it's super cheap. Highly recommend it. Now, you see that big-ass compactor right there? That is a 1,000-pound compactor that I use. It's diesel. Thing is badass. Compacts driveways so well. And for the first initial compaction, you definitely want to use that, or a jumping jack. Jumping jack compacts better, but you don't want to use a jumping jack for these driveways. You want to use a big one like that. You could get away with using this little guy right here that you see in the video. You're just going to have to do it a lot. You're going to have to do it sideways, vertical, horizontal, get it wet again, do it again. But that big dog, one time, and then do all the fine compaction with this little guy, and you'll be great. And now it's time for the boys to start laying pavers. Remember, this is only day 3. How the heck did 4 guys do all this work in 3 days? Easy access in the front yard, great equipment, the best boss on the planet, and incredible tools. Pretty soon, you're going to be seeing that the guys are going to start laying these rails. And these are copper screeding rails. They're about 1/2 inch thick. And you can get them at your local paver store. You can get them at these places where you buy pavers. You just go in there, you tell them you want screeding rails. And they're going to be expensive, especially for the copper ones. I think the copper ones are maybe
few $100, maybe $500. But if you're going to do pavers for a long time, long period, invest in those because they are perfectly straight and the boys love them. Now you're going to see them doing this little weird thing that they like to do is compacting the sand. The reason you want to do that is so the pavers don't sink too much when you install them. So they install maybe an inch of sand, compact it, and then they spray a new coat of sand on it, and then they screed it using the rails. So you're going to see Martin right in the middle. He's going to be with his tape measure, measuring. And what he's doing is he's checking to see if the screed rail is perfectly the same distance from his string lines as it is everywhere else on the driveway. So once they are, he's going to take a big level and screed, and everything is going to be perfectly smooth. Then another guy, while he's doing that, is already laying the pavers down. You're going to be surprised at how fast pavers are installed once everything is prepped and laid out. They're going to have this entire driveway pretty much laid out. It's crazy how fast it goes. Now this all depends on proper preparation. You're going to see them having a big pile of pavers already stacked up there. Ideally, what would be nice is if you had an entire pallet just placed there so they can just cut and move the pavers as they need them. But in this particular case, we didn't have enough room for a pallet, so they had to do everything by hand. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But once a little bit gets going, it's going to be pretty easy to make everything move quickly. One thing you always want to pay attention to is where the pattern goes, because we did the pavers from the backyard. You see that right gate where that guy's standing with his hand up, which he should be working. I don't know what he's doing. Get to work. Okay, now he's getting to work. So the pavers, the pattern goes from there and it comes to the driveway. So you have to continue the pattern that way. That's why you have to make sure that you start the pavers in a very strategic location and continue them, because you don't want to have a cut in the pattern. Everything has to be free flowing and smooth. Once they figured out that, look how fast. Boom, 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 boom. Sometimes you see pavers installed and the guys mess up and they do a cold joint. Cold joint looks like crap because it makes the area look much smaller and it doesn't flow. The more you flow, the bigger perception it is with the whole area that you're doing, and the better it'll look. And the customer will be happy, you'll be happy, and when you're doing your video, everything's gonna be fantastic. Now you see that big blue level? They're just making sure that the level matches the sidewalk because it has to be pretty perfect. You can't have your pavers lower than the sidewalk. And you're gonna be like, well, T, the sidewalk's all crooked. I know, but you have to match the sidewalk. You cannot do it lower or higher. It has to be the exact same. If you have the opportunity to change the sidewalk, do it. This particular case, we did not, because the area would require a permitted concrete installer to do it, and I don't have that license, or do I want to have that license because it's city work? But you just match the old existing one and you roll. It is what it is. And now we're almost coming up on our end of day 3, and keep in mind, you saw me here for maybe an hour, and look how much work we got done. Start of day 4. Obviously, homeowners out here checking stuff out. We're installing a brand new concrete cleanout box for his water line, and that was an upsell. That was a $300 upsell. The actual material cost $100. The reason you want to do stuff like that is because you're installing a brand new driveway. Like, it's not even a big deal. You just say, hey, we have to put a new one in, and they say, okay. You don't even give them the option. Don't say, oh, would you like us to put one in? No, we have to put this in. It's $300. Deal with it. And they'll say, okay. If you just tell people they have no choice, which in this case, he really didn't, because I would hate to see a brand new driveway and a concrete box that is from the 1960s. Bad offer. The most time-consuming aspect of installing pavers is going to be the cutting of all the little pieces that go around the edges and borders. If you see the field, it's very quick. It just pop, 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 pop. Especially once they get the hang of the pattern, they understand where all the little pieces go. But
the most time consuming is definitely measuring, cutting, putting it in. Oh, it's too big. Cutting again, putting it in, stuff like that. That's very time consuming. So when you see a lot of progress for pavers and you're going to be like, man, what the heck's the holdup? Cutting, bro. Cutting takes a long time. But keep in mind, this is still day 4. And my guys are very efficient. They know what they're doing. They work consistently and constantly. And look how long it took to do that one little box. To be honest with you, now that I'm looking at it, because it took them so long, I probably should have charged $500. And the homeowner still said, okay. Close attention to the paver area, especially when it comes to muddy boots, dirty shoes, anything in an area where they can stain. I see a lot of people doing pavers and they don't take any protective precautions. They'll just be like, oh, I'll clean it with a special fabric and special solution. Don't do that. Just lay some plastic down. You can't control your guys' feet because they're doing construction. They're going to be walking through stuff, especially with a little bit of rain. Obviously, this was done in spring, summertime, so there was no rain in California, but it's easier to prevent mistakes from happening than it is to fix them. Fixing mistakes always costs more money than laying some $20 plastic down. Even if I spent $200 on plastic, I would still rather do that than fix pavers. Take a quick peek at the left side of the screen where that saw is. Now, this saw is an Eimer 250 VA. They're like $1,500. I would recommend getting these. A lot of people like these dustless IQ saws. I've had bad luck with them because they blow circuits like crazy, and you always have to go back and readjust the circuit unless you run it on its own generator, which is a pain in the ass because it's so noisy. So I like these guys. Now, you always want to have that saw pointing away from the home. Ideally, what you want to do is put a piece of plywood right behind it. That way, any splatter from cutting the pavers go directly on the plywood, and you don't have a bunch of this fine dust going everywhere that's wet, because that stuff stains. Oh boy, have I learned my lesson with that. That is really, really hard to get out. Again, I can't stress this enough. Prevent bullshit, and you will be successful. Prevent. Make sure you prevent mistakes from happening rather than correcting the mistakes. This is the difference between me and a lot of contractors. Like, you guys don't understand. I don't consider myself a landscaper. Like, that's so stupid. I'm not a landscaper. The average landscaper is a moron. They drive with a truck that is 30 years old, that has problems, oil leaking, tires are flat, one tire is bald. They always have issues. They're fat. They're disgusting looking. Like, they're not organized. Their entire dash of their truck is filled with papers, and they go to McDonald's for lunch. Like, if you're that guy, you need some serious life choices that are different. That is such a low quality of a human being. You want to be someone that is exceptional, someone that is on top of everything, that is super organized, that has a clean vehicle. I can tell so much about you just by the vehicle you drive and the cleanliness of it. If someone gets in your passenger seat and you have to clean out the entire passenger seat before they get out, that's a problem. You go to my car, I might have a empty water bottle laying down on the passenger side. I might have a piece of paper, something, but it's quick. It's just like, get it, boom, throw it away, done. Make sure that you are organized. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you keep your vehicle dirty, if you're disgusting, if you don't brush your teeth in the morning, if you don't floss after every meal, like, I'm not saying the real dental flosses, I'm saying just normal. Like, take those little toothpicks, those little floss toothpicks, and floss your teeth. Brush your teeth. Wash your hair every day. Like, take a shower. I take a shower twice a day. Be clean. Be a good human being. Wash your clothes. Like, take care of yourself. Stop being a disgusting pig. And what do you know? Your life will improve just by you showering more. I guarantee you, if you don't shower every day and you just shower more, your life will be better. It's not a secret hack. Like, make the right choices, do the right things, stop hanging out with scumbags, become a better human being, and you'll become successful. Success is not that difficult. It's actually really, really simple. And I'm going to show you more on how these pavers are going to be wrapped up on day 5. It's going to blow you away, but one more day and we're done. One more day. They got a lot done, but now, time for the end result. Coming in hot to the last day. This entire process is going to be a smooth, silky one once you invest your money back into the tools. Because remember, if you want to be a long-term thinker and a long-term businessman, you're going to have to take all the profit that you made from your first job, which hopefully is some. If you didn't make any profit on your first paver job, do not worry. Don't get discouraged. It's part of the process. It's because you made a lot of mistakes. You were not efficient. You didn't get the right machine. You took out too much dirt. You didn't bring enough base rock. You brought in too much base rock. You bought too many pavers. All that is a byproduct of doing something that you don't know how to do. But because you watch this whole thing, you're going to understand the process behind it. And it's going to be pretty simple. Once you get to your 4th or 5th job, you're going to be raking in some cash. It's all part of the process. You're going to learn. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. As long as you have the right people on your team. Remember, this is the most important part. Having the right guys. If your guys made a mistake, it's okay. It happens. But you better make sure they know how to do pavers. Because when one of my guys makes a mistake, I don't freak out and get mad at them and throw a big temper tantrum and freak. I'm not a baby. Mistakes happen. We're humans. But if a guy making $15 an hour makes a mistake and you were like, well, why did you make a mistake? Well, first of all, he doesn't know how to do pavers. So it's actually your fault. And at the end of the day, no matter if a master mason makes a mistake, because that shit still happens, at the end of the day, it's all your fault. Don't blame anyone else. And when they do make a mistake, own it like a man. And if you're a woman watching, you know how to be more masculine than some men nowadays. So don't even trip on that. But when shit hits the fan, just remember, if it has to be, it's up to me. You are always cause. You are never effect. Things never happen to me. I always cause things to happen. Okay, I'm going to get a little graphic, but I don't want to get fucked. I want to do the fucking. That's the mentality you have to have. And once you have that mentality engraved in your head, you're going to be off in a much better position and you're going to be happier because problems are good just as long as they're not the same problems over and over and over and over and over again. Finally, I get to show you how the border is done. So the boys take a grinder and they just do a string line and just score it real quick. And then they're going to take the big cutoff and they're just going to rip and grip. Now, the reason what they do with the water is to keep the dust down. Don't be one of those contractors that you go to their job site and there's literally dust everywhere. It's so easy to do with water. It's so easy. Just do it like that. Keep everything clean. It's better for yourself, the employees, the neighbors, the environment, if you care about that. And you saw what they did. They just washed their shoes off real quick. Now they're going to put a piece of rebar inside a concrete bed, which holds it all together. And they make a little 45-degree angle, and they come about halfway to the paver. And what this does, it just locks them all in. It prevents them from moving, and it gives it a nice finishing touch at the end, just so the pavers don't shift and move around, and everything is pretty well organized. A lot of these companies that you'll see will start using bender board or wood. That's half-assed because in 5-6 years, that's going to mess up. It's going to move. And yeah, it'll be out of warranty, blah, blah, blah. But it's just not a clean product. And anyone can do this. This is a super simple thing to do. And look how nice it looks. Just locks everything in. Bada bing, bada bang. Now they're going to do the finishing pieces right by the box. And I'm going to be honest with you. Looking at this now, and seeing how long this concrete box takes, I truly believe $300 is not enough. I'm going to start charging $500-$600 for that concrete box, even though the material is $100, but there's so much work that goes onto it. I just had no idea. It's crazy. Okay, look at this. This is the little compactor. Now you're going to get a polymeric sand. You're going to put it down. We always use gray. Some people use tan. I don't like the color tan. I like the gray sand better. And there is going to come a rubber plate that's going to go on the bottom of that machine. And the rubber plate, it's a polyurethane plate. It costs like $300. I have like 4 of them. You're going to get this and install it on there. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's clean. You do not want to have any mud spraying and scratching up the brand new pavers. And the boys are just going to compact, sweep, and broom everything in. At the end, you're going to have a pile about that big. You're going to sweep it up, put it back in the bag, save it for later. And then they're going to take a little blower and blow everything, all the little fine dust particles away. Usually, you're going to save the last part, which is getting the pavers wet towards the end of the day, because once they're wet, the sand will set and you can't walk on it until the next day. A little trick that I like to do sometimes to save a few $100s on pavers is installing a regular sand as the first coat underneath, because the polymeric sand you're going to put as a second coat, and that's the stuff that really locks in. And there are pavers that are 100 millimeters. There's some thick boys, 4 inches. Those are the ones that you're going to want to use regular sand at the bottom, because I've had it where we installed 1,500 square feet of that, and I ended up blowing like $1,200 in sand, polymeric sand, and most of that went to the bottom and it was wasted. So I started doing the regular sand as the base layer for thick pavers and walkways. You don't really want to do it on driveways. Just put the polymeric sand. I mean, driveways you don't really want to mess with. But dude, one thing I do got to say, if there is ever a time where you have to remove the pavers after they've been already locked in with the sand, it is a pain in the ass. So make sure that everything is perfect. If you see anything that might look like questionable, the customer might raise an eye, just fix it before, because ripping the pavers out after the polymeric sand is set is a nightmare. And you saw the boys sprayed everything down with the water. The sand is curing right now and it's turning into pretty much concrete. And there's the homeowner walking around checking everything. Martin is putting the last paver down and it's pretty much done. We're done. And that little pipe that you see, they're going to install a little concrete basin for the water to puddle up there and then drain to the sidewalk. I'll show that to you in a little bit. The driveway is done. It's completed. Now, there are a few little details that we have to look out for to make sure that everything is perfect. Like I told you, the level of this is pretty simple. You take the string from there and come here, done. You follow that exact level. What about the edges? So you never want to have this piece cut in half, or you want to have a sliver. You always want to have full pieces. Full pieces are nice. Even though you have a flower bed here, always try to make full pieces. Slivers on the end of the driveway are gonna happen. It's okay unless you have a border. But even if you have a border, slivers are still part of the game. And especially because you have a nice curve. And when your guys are cutting it, make sure they cut the curve very straight. Like if you look here, if you look at the curve, you look at the cuts, they're really straight. They're not like jagged like this. You don't want any of this like crooked, jagged shit, because that's the first thing people see when they come and look at your job site and they see jagged cuts. It means not professional. You guys don't know what they're doing, and it's half-ass. Here, you're going to see that this paver is a little bit of a different color. This is another thing that you have to watch out for. When pavers stain, especially when they're white, you have to replace them. And majority of the time what's going to happen, the pavers that you installed here versus here, they're not going to be the same batch. So there's going to be a different shade of white. And these are already dirtied and weathered, and this one is not. This one is fairly new, about 2 months old. This is like 5 months old. That's why you see the big different coloration.
Here, full-size pavers all the way down, and the polymeric sand is in there. You don't, when you're doing poly, you never want to have it too high. You want to have it a little bit lower than the pavers, or even flush. It depends on the actual type of paver you're installing. Here, there was like a big gouge in the concrete of the existing, so we just filled it in with polymeric sand. It would have been, I mean, concrete would have been fine, but I asked the homeowner if he was cool with polymeric, and he said yeah. Another thing, check this out. This is the box that we installed. Obviously, this is why the brand new box is really important. These are the drains that are going from the gutters over there all the way here. What happens is this little thing pops up, water comes out, flows out here, and then drains on down. Same thing over here. Rain fills up, the water fills up here, and eventually it goes up, and just drains on the sidewalk. That's the easiest way to do this. I know some states are illegal, and technically speaking, okay, this is, I'm saying this off record, okay? This is not the right way to do it, but it's the best way to do it because it gets all the water away from the property. So if you don't live like in a crazy zip code where there's inspections and all this stuff, you can get away with that. But if you do have inspections, an inspector will definitely tell you, yo, you can't do that. All water has to stay on property. Another thing I want to point out, the pavers right now are extremely dirty because of the tire marks. This is something that you have to let the homeowner know. Obviously, installing white pavers is not the best idea. You cannot do anything about these tire marks. If you do pressure wash, you have to make sure you charge thousands of dollars. So I probably would charge $5,000 to do all this. Why? Because when you pressure wash, all the sand comes out. Factor in all that time that you're going to put in to put everything back, and it's still going to be stained. These pavers are going to be stained for life, no matter what. If you seal them, don't seal them, they're always going to be like this. Let's say, for instance, right now, a homeowner wanted, for some reason, an extra light here. You could technically connect it from here to there, but remember, we installed a sleeve underneath this entire driveway. There's a 3-inch pipe going along the sidewalk. And the reason you want to put it along the sidewalk is because you always know where it is. Easiest place. You don't want to do it here or there. You want to do it at the corner or right here. I know there's one here for sure. There's one that goes all the way straight down, and then there's one that goes along the sidewalk and runs to the other flower bed. And you can use that for electrical, water, irrigation, anything. Anything. You just run it through, bam, you're good. Now I'm going to show you how to measure a driveway. So this is my driveway. It's fairly large. And you might be looking at this like, T, I don't know what to order. How do I know what to order? What about the field stone versus the border stone? What do I do? First, you have to relax. And second, you got to trust me. Now, you're going to get your handy dandy wheel. There's going to be a link to this particular wheel on the sheet that I'm going to give you. And you're going to buy this $100. This is well worth it. Don't buy any other wheel. All the other wheels are pieces of shit. And I'll tell you why. See this right there? This is a analog, not digital, and it's a big wheel. So one rotation of the wheel is 1 foot. The other ones, the small ones, remember, this is the wheel of fortune. This makes you a lot of money. Don't cheap out on the wheel. This is $100. You know how many times I've replaced this? None. I only have one. I've had one forever. And I just keep buying them, giving them to Jose, giving them to people. But I always take the new one, obviously, because I like new stuff. But I'm going to show you exactly how to measure this area. You're going to bust out the Notes app, okay? You're going to get this, and you're going to write things down as they go. Now, you look at this area, and you're like, okay, this is one big rectangle. Always break things up into little squares and rectangles. If it's a circular area, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Now, this whole thing right here is a circular area. You're like, T, how do I measure this so I can give the customer a fair price? Watch. You break things up into squares. So you go here, and you stop right about there. So this is going to be 15. Right now it says 14, 10 inches. We round everything up. And then you take it from here and you go all the way down. You're going to find the square. Okay. 15 by 34. You're going to go in here and you're going to write down 15 by 34. Now you have this entire square figured out. What's next? Right here. You're going to go from the area you left off, which is the place you stopped at, right here. And you're going to go down. This is 25. Now you see this area. This is all the utility stuff. You'd be like, T, do I have to measure this out? Yes. Charge the homeowner for this. No one gives a shit. Okay, it says 4. We're going to round it up to 5. It says 4.5. We're going to round up to 5. So it's going to be 25 by 5. Great offer. It's 125 square feet here. Now, you're going to go over here, which is going to be the easy part, because this is one big rectangle. So where do we stop? Right here. And you're just going to rip all the way down. Now, you're not going to want to stop here, and I'll show you why. We're going to want to get the main gist of the entire driveway. 115. Now, you see that there's like this little weird angle right here? Don't worry about that. Now we're going to round up to 116. No big deal. You just round up. Don't worry. And then you go here. Perfectly aligned. You clear it out. And you measure to here. So we have 115 by 17.5, but you know what we like to do? 115 by 18. Great offer. Now, here is a little area. We're going to bust this out. This is a 10 by 6. So you write down 10 by 6. You're going to come over here, right about here, and you're going to measure this little area. Boom. This is 11 by 20. You're going to write things down, and this thing has a kickstand, so it's pretty nice. So you go 11 by 20. So this whole area is done. Everything here is done. Now we have this little thing right here. Now we're not going to stop here. We're going to go all the way. This is a 73. And you're going to come here. You'd be like, oh, do I subtract the paver square footage from this? No, charge it. 73 by 4. Okay. So you write down 73 by 4. Okay, so this is done. Now we have this little chunk right here. This is a 10 by 8. So this chunk is done. That side of the driveway is done. Over there is done. Now we have to do this little area right here, which is going to be pretty simple. Don't leave this out. 6 by 10. That's 60 square feet. If you're charging $20 a square, boys, that's freaking $1,200. For this one right here, if you see, everything is one size. This is a 6 by 9. Over here, this is a 6 by 6. For the borders, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is just measure the perimeter, because you're going to order the material from the lady and you're going to tell her exactly the linear feet you have. Typically, you can do this on a design, but if you have to do it in real life, this is how you have to do it. So you zero it out and you just walk all the way around the perimeter. See, right now, if you had the little tiny wheel, this would be a horrible offer for the little tiny wheel, because it'd be bumping and bouncing around and the measurement would not be accurate. For some reason, there's no field here, or there's no border. That's okay. The border's here, but we're not going to pay attention to this. We're just going to go outside, and it goes here. And you have to come back and meet exactly where you started off. Boom. 360 linear feet. So you're going to write down 360 LFT border. That's very important. Now we have everything on here. All the measurements are on here. So all you have to do is sit down and just add all these up. Another pro tip Never, ever, ever use the Apple calculator. The Apple calculator is one of the biggest pieces of garbage in the entire world. All you have to do is go to the App Store and download Calculator Air. And the reason you want to do that is because the Apple calculator, watch, I'll show you. The Apple calculator, this one, the one that it comes factory with, you can't tell if you punched a mistake in. So watch this. Let's say you do 68 times 55. You don't know what you put. This calculator, 68 times 55, it gives you everything. It sees the values you entered. And it gives you the whole equation. See what I'm saying? You need this. Don't ever use the calculator on Apple. Now we're inside and we're going to run through those numbers again. Just because you multiplied things once on the job site doesn't mean you can't do it again. Always check twice. Your numbers have to match up every single time. Making a mistake by doing a wrong error on the calculation is so easy, and it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. Believe me, one time I made a $10,000 mistake because I didn't check my numbers twice. Every single time we run it through again. Now I have everything listed on here, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to punch in the numbers, 15 by 34. And I'm just going to write down in the Notes app. You can do this on your phone, but I'm just doing it here to make it easy. 510, 25 by 5. I already know some of the equations by heart because I'm not an idiot. I know 25 by 5 is 125. However, still input it in the calculator. Now we have everything lined up, so we're going to just go and blast them in here. 510 plus 125 plus 2070 plus 60 plus 220 plus 292 plus 80 plus 60. It's actually 3,400 square feet. Now, what I'm going to do is order materials. I'm going to round up regardless because there's going to be a lot of waste for cuts. Usually, you're going to have about 10% of material that's going to be thrown away because you cut half of it, you cut a quarter of it, you want a little piece. So I would order 3,600 square feet as a safe start because these are easy to replace. You can just go down the street and get another pallet. The problem is when you order too much, then you have to worry about returns. So order a little bit less than you think you need. You're still going to have overages, but I would rather send one of my guys to go get an extra pallet, half a pallet, 3 layers to finish the job, than have a pallet left over and me not know what to do with 3/4 of it and just throw it away. It's just a waste of money. So under order a little bit. This is the catalog. I'm going to show you exactly how to order materials. It's actually very simple. So you're going to have a catalog like this, and Mission is one that we use quite often. I feel like these sizes are very universal everywhere. One thing I want to point out is every time it has this means no vehicles are allowed. You cannot do this for a driveway. So don't install these because they're too thin. Big pavers that are 80 millimeter or even 100, those are the ones allowed on the driveways. You're going to give this to your customer and you're going to show them these are the patterns. You're going to pick out whichever ones. In the beginning, I would strongly urge you to not do very complicated patterns like this or this or this. Well, this one's pretty easy. You can do that. Stick with something basic. This one right here, herringbone, 45 degree, great offer. All you're going to do is look at the sizes. Right here, it says 100% 4x8 or 100% 6x12. You're going to go here, it says 6x12. Now, if you were to do 100% of 6x12, 3,600 square feet, you would need to do a very simple equation. 3,600 divided by 105. You'd be like, T, where did you get 105 from? Right here. It says square feet per pallet, 105. You're going to push enter. You know right off the bat, you're going to need 34 pallets, 34.2. So what I would do is just order 34 pallets and then deal with that later. You're going to call your guy and say, hey, this is what I did in the beginning. You're going to say, I have a total of 3,600 square feet of pavers, and that's already rounded up for waste. I need 3,600 square feet of pavers of herringbone 45 degree 6x12. And then you're going to say, in that, I have 360 linear feet of border 6x9. All you're going to do is tell them, I have 360 linear feet of 4x8 as border, and I also have, in that, 3,600 square feet of 6x12 herringbone 45 degree, and then you're going to tell them a color. I personally like to stick with basic colors like gray charcoal tan. I find that a lot of Indian people like to do tan red charcoal, which is fine. But I like to go with the cool colors, not so much the warm, because this color will be very dated in 10 years, as this right here and this won't be. So I would recommend you sticking with that. So just tell whoever you order your pavers from the exact amount you have, the pattern, and they're going to do all the math for you. All you have to do is just to double check their calculations, is to take your square footage and then look at per pallet. Usually the good rule of thumb is one pallet carries about 100 square feet. So you're going to do 3,600 divided by 100. You're going to have 36 pallets. That's it. Simple. Now you know how to order pavers. If you want to go the very complex patterns, you tell the person you're going to order from exactly what you need, and they will do all the math. They have this calculator. They can just, and all you have to do is double check the amount of pallets delivered to make sure that their math matches up with your math. And that's it. One thing I wanted to explain exactly how to calculate everything when it comes to ordering the base rock, ordering the sand, is very simple. There's an app online. It's a website. It's a gravel calculator. I'll just jump in here and I'm going to show you. All you're going to do is go to Google and type in gravel calculator by yards. And you're going to click this. And we had 3,400 square feet total area. Now we're going to want to do about 8 to 9 inches of base rock. So we'll just put 8. And gravel is going to be 0.2 to 2 inches, that's about right. And then price, don't worry about that. You click it, and it gives you a total count of 84 yards. So one semi-truck, the big dogs that I use in the video, they carry about 18 to 20 yards. I just like to estimate 20, so I know right off the bat, I'm going to need at least 4 semi-trucks of base rock delivered to the address. Let's say you want to estimate how much sand. So you're going to put 3,400 square feet of sand, dry sand, and you're going to want to do 1 inch. You're going to calculate, boom, you're going to need 10 yards. So you know exactly how much to order. Don't over order things or eyeball it. Always use this calculator, calculator.net. It's really simple. And you're going to have everything. So if you have other materials that are gravel with sand, 9 inches, boom, it's going to tell you 94 yards. This is a great tool. Use it, and you're not going to make any mistakes. To the right, you're going to see the driveway, and this is the area we need to excavate. This little dashed line is the setback. It's a 5-foot setback around the entire property. This means that the city or PG&E has access to it at any given time possible, so they might be able to tear it up. But as you see, it's a fairly small driveway. It's like 350 square feet. And the next one is going to be a complete breakdown day by day of how much everything costs, from labor to materials, and how much money did your boy T make at the very end of the job after it was all said and done. This is the spreadsheet that I'm going to show you how we break down every single job, so you understand exactly how much money was spent on materials, labor, and what you're left with at the end. How was I able to profit 22%, which is only $6,000. For this driveway, only 6 bands. Not that much. So first column is going to be the materials. On the Monday of 4/3, April 3rd, we spent $273 at a store buying some stuff. We bought pavers for $5,000, and the dump fees were $500. And then next time, soil removal. That was 3 times that we did soil removal. Base rock, sand, pipe, all the materials listed out equal to $9,765.28. So that's exactly how much I spent on materials, around 10 bands, which is crazy. Now, what about labor? Labor is $568 per day per guy. I had a 4-man crew there, $2,272, and we worked 5 days. So labor in itself, payroll, overhead,
cost $11,360. I can show you exactly how to do this on a live call. This is part of the whole blueprint package that I have. It breaks down every single thing I've done from 0 to 5 million, how I was able to systematize everything with all the right processes, procedures. All you got to do is message me and I can give you a free demo of it. This thing is sick. But if you really want to take your business to the next level, you have to start tracking and understanding where your money's going, because if you don't, then you're just guessing and you need data. The more data you have, the better you will do and the more educated you will be when it comes to running your business. So the total amount with demolition, installation of the pavers was $27,300, and the expenses were almost 10 grand. Payroll was 11 grand. So I profited $6,174. Now, you'd be like, T, you worked 5 days and you made 6 grand. Yeah, that's true. But remember, overhead was paid for, and all of the girls in the office were paid for. Everybody was paid for, all their wages, including mine. And then on top of that, the company made $6,000. So I made about $1,200 a day, which is not super crazy, super amazing, but it's still something, especially after the fact that all the bills were paid for, and that's what we have left over. So if you want more information on how to do this exactly, I'll give you a free tour. Just message me, DM me, T, show me the blueprint on Facebook, and I got you.
End of the Paver course. You have all the tools at your disposal. Stop making excuses. Go out, get the job done. I showed you everything I know, from getting the right people to going and actually asking for help, doing the job, walking you through step by step, showing you what needs to be done with levels. Most of the questions that you have right now that you're like, I don't know the answers to, will be answered by your mason, will be answered by the guy that you hire onto your business. Remember, whatever you're going through right now, you're only one person away from changing your life forever. And the faster you find that guy, the faster you'll get to where you want to go. Stop making excuses. Go out, do it, ask for help. I'm here. I am personally here. I have walked the walk. I'm talking the talk. I've done it. I know what I'm talking about. Now, all you have to do is go pull the trigger. No more excuses, boys. Go get it. If you have more questions on the Paver course or something in the future that you just don't know the answers to, just DM me on Facebook. Don't email me. Don't call me. Don't send me a message on Instagram. Always go to Facebook. Reach out to me. I'm here. I'll help you. I'll get you to where you need to go. All you have to do is take action, because there's a lot of people learning everything. There's guys going and reading 1,000 books, but no one gives a shit about you reading 1,000 books. I would rather you pull the trigger rather than sitting in your room and reading. Reading is good. It's great. But if you don't take action, you ain't going to get anywhere. Take action. Stop being a bitch. One guy changed my entire life, and his name was Carlos. I was passing out flyers, and then a customer called, and it was for a flagstone job. I didn't know how to do flagstone. I don't know how to do pavers. So I said, oh shit. So I closed the deal. It was $2,357, something like that. And I said, I need a few days to order all the materials, and I will call you in 3 days and get you an exact date of when I'm starting. And she said, okay, Tigran, thank you very much. Signed the contract, gave me a $250 deposit. Now I have another problem. I closed the deal. I don't know how to order materials. I don't know where to get them, and I don't have labor to help me. First thing, I went to the place to order all the materials, and the guy walked me through it. I gave him all the measurements, and I said, okay, this is what I need, this is what I need, this is what I need. And he said, no problem. Materials were $1,000. I said, okay, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Now, I didn't ask him if he knew any guys that could help me, because, like, honestly, I was scared. I was like, okay, thank you very much. I'm out of here. And then I went to Home Depot in my truck. I have a yellow banana truck, and I'm camping outside Home Depot, and I see all these guys, and I pull up, and all of them swarm my truck, and I got scared, and I left. I was a pussy. Complete pussy. They're gonna rob me. I was like, T, you gotta do this though. You cannot, you can't, you don't know how to do flagstone to begin with. You have to do this. Now, I went and I talked to the guys. I got a couple numbers, but when I asked them, do you know how to do pavers? They didn't really convince me that they knew how to do pavers. And then I got in my truck and I was driving away, and all I see is this little guy with Mexican boots. He's about 5'5", and I go up to him and I roll the window down. And I said, hey, I'm like, do you know how to do pavers? And he said, yeah. I'm like, you know how to do landscaping? He said, yeah. I'm like, can you help me? And how much you pay? I said, 20. And he said, no. And he walked away. I said, what do you want? He said, 25. I said, deal. Get in the truck. We drove away. I talked to him a little bit. I knew without a shadow of a doubt This dude knows exactly what he's doing. So, hired him on the spot. I said, I'll pick you up Tuesday. Let's roll. He blew me out of the water. I could not believe how much he knew about pavers. He knew everything. He even said, Tigre, I do concrete. And I said, oh my God, I cannot lose this guy. So what did I do? I overpaid him. I paid him and his friend. And by the way, you're like, OT, you found a guy. Great job. How did you get help? He already has people, bro. Don't worry about it. And you're like, oh, did you have to pay him cash or did you have to pay him check? In the beginning, you have to do whatever it takes. I'm going to leave that up to you. Test it first. Figure out what you're going to do. Make sure it's actually a good fit. And then go balls deep. But the one thing that I gained from this is that I had so much confidence in my ability to sell a job and know it's going to get done. Because remember, a lot of people want to be the best salesman on the planet. But in landscaping, if you're the best salesman, no one gives a shit. What's important more than a good salesman is the ability to get the job done. You need people. A lot of people look at me on YouTube and they say, oh, T's just a great salesman. No, I'm not. I mean, I am. But what I can do is pull the trigger and make sure the job gets done. Because you can sell $1 million worth of deals, but if you can't complete it and the customer's happy and says, here's the last check, thank you very much, shake your hand, look you in the eye, give you a great review, and said, appreciate you. You and everyone at Applewell Landscaping did a phenomenal job. If they can't say that to you, then you, my friend, failed. Being the best salesman doesn't mean shit. You have to complete the work. You need confidence. And this is the whole point. You have to get the guy that knows what he's doing, and then you stack jobs one at a time. Bam, 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 bam. And before you know it, you've been doing landscaping. You've been doing pavers, concrete, grass, turf, plants, irrigation, lights, timers, everything. You've been doing that for the last 6 months. And you'll learn more in that 6 months about how to do pavers and run a landscaping business than you would ever know if you got a video course about how to do pavers. Do you get what I'm saying? This is stupid people thinking. You do not need to know how to do pavers. You need to know how to get people that know how to do pavers. Don't think like a poor person. Poor people do this all the time. Everyone messages me on Instagram. You don't know what you're doing. Bro, I know what I'm doing. Trust me. I know exactly what I'm doing. I actually know what I'm doing more than all the haters because I have incredible people in my life, in my company that have already done all of this incredible work and they know what they're doing. So if I just get them, plug them into my life, boom, I get that experience, wham, chips all in. Now it's time to sell and get the job done.